All right. So everyone, my input looks like this. What we have here is, if you notice, I have a folder, and this folder has a bunch of different things in it. So we have sales for 4 years, 13, 14, 15, 16. And just to explain this to you, I'm going to keep the 16 data outside. Then we have the budget, we have category, ID and name, we have target, and so on and so forth. Could you just put a 1 on the chat window to confirm whether the screen is visible properly, everyone? So 1 means that the audio and the video is clear. Excellent. Thanks, everyone. So let me just explain the problem. If you notice, we have a folder that has 3 years of sales data in it. We have 2013, 2014, and 2015, right? How does the sales data look like? It's very simple. If you were there yesterday, you would remember we had worked on this Superstore data. And if I want to open the file again and show it to you, you would see that it's just a simple data set, which looks like this, right? What all do we have here? We have order date, ship date, shipping mode, the customer ID, segment, city, state, region, subcategory, sales, quantity, and profit. But there are a few things missing here. If you notice carefully, you would see that I have the customer ID, but I don't know who this customer is. Why not? Because that mapping is a part of my MIS. You know, my information system is in a different file. For example, you would notice that on SAP, I have a file which is called ID and name. And the ID and name Excel has a list of all the customer IDs and all the customer name. Now, the problem is that if I ask you that who were the top 5 customers, you would have to do a VLOOKUP, correct? You would either do a VLOOKUP or an XLOOKUP or an index match. But one thing is for sure that you have to write a formula. Otherwise, how will you combine the 2 data sets from 2 different files into a common one, correct? Also, you notice that we have the subcategory, and there are 17 subcategories that we have. So we have accessories, appliances, so on and so forth. But we don't have the mapping of the category that is written in a different file. Again, you notice we have a file called category, and here I can see that my 70 subcategories actually belong to 3 categories. They're either furniture, they're office supplies, or they are technology. These are the 3 things the company is selling. So we're not going to focus on the other things. I just want to focus on 3 things. One is the sales data, the other is the category, and the other is the ID and name. Let's start working with it. So I'll open Power BI. So even if some of you missed out yesterday, that's completely okay. I'm going to work from scratch, right? So as you can see, I have nothing prepared. I'm going to do this right in front of you, and please ask as many questions as you want to. The first thing that I want to do is to click on Get Data. And you notice we have different connectors available here. So we have Excel, Power BI, SQL Server, we have Internet, we have ODC feeds, which are object connections, we have blank query. But if I click on More, you will notice that there are several other options available. So we have different types of files, we have different types of database, we have, this is the Power Platform, which is owned by Microsoft. And we have Microsoft Azure, we have online services, and we have other. Right? Shubham, there was no discount applied on the IIT Bombay course. It is showing 2,000 rupees. Shubham, a small correction. The price is 2,000. So let me be very transparent here, right? Good you asked me. The price is 2,000. Actually, I'm not allowed to change it because we have already set a price. But what we are doing is they're giving a we're giving a 500 rupee worth Power BI course free, right? Hence the effective price comes down to 1,500, right? So, I mean, I don't want to be ambiguous and, you know, be unclear about it. The price is 2,000, but we are giving a 500 rupee worth course fee. And that course that I'm telling you is not available anywhere else. These are special lectures. There are 65 lectures, 5 hours of content, exclusive content on Power BI, which I constantly keep on updating. And that is only available on my own platform. It's not there on Udemy. It's not there on YouTube. Right? So I hope that's clear. Which platform am I working on currently on my screen? Neelam, are you referring to the software? I'm working on Power BI, right? If you can see it at the top. I don't think you were there yesterday. So for anybody who is not clear about it, Power BI stands for Power Business Intelligence. It's a tool owned by Microsoft, but it is not a part of Microsoft Office, which means that it is connected to MS Office, but at the same time, they are independent. Microsoft Office is a tool meant for presentations, spreadsheets, but Power BI is meant for business intelligence to derive business insights, right? Don't worry, we are going to do the example again. A little by little, you will get the hang of it, right? So we're working on Power BI. It's a free tool, everyone. You can just go online, search for Power BI Desktop and download it. Now, what do we want? We want to connect to everyone, we want to connect to a folder. Very cool, right? Like usually Swati, I'll share it with you. Just remind me, I'll share you the link. Now, the problem is that we have 3 years of sales in a folder, which is 13, 14, 15. And what I want to do here is I want to select folder and click on connect. Now, what is going to happen is that I don't know how many files are there in that folder. They can be 3, they can be 300, which I want to combine. If you had to do it on Excel, how would you have done it? This is a very common problem, isn't it? You have multiple files and you have to open them one by one and then combine it. I'm going to show you how you don't need to do that. I will just select my folder path. So I will go to my desktop, select Superstore, and then select sales and press OK. Now, the first thing that Power BI is going to do is to confirm that there are 3 files in that folder. So it is telling me there's 2013, 14, and 15. The other information is just metadata. We are not concerned with that. Now, I know that there are 3 files, and I'm assuming that they're all the same format. The years are different, the number of rows are different, but obviously the columns will be the same because it's a transactional data. How do we combine it? We click on combine and transform, the very first option. What is happening now? It is asking me which sheet do we want to combine. Now we only have one sheet in our 3 files, which is called sheet 1. So if you notice, I have all the 3 files here, 2013, 14, and 15, right? I hope all of you can see this clearly. And I've selected sheet 1 and I click on OK. And you know what is going to happen now? That's it. We have selected a folder and automatically Power BI is going to combine all the different files in that folder and it is going to open something called Power Query Editor. If you look in the top left corner. Now you might say, Havish, how do you know that all the 3 files have been combined or not? Do you see this? There is a new column called source.me, which clearly wasn't there earlier. And what can you see in this new column? You can basically open up the drop down and you can see that 2013, 14, 15 has all been combined together. Very cool, right? Like literally without opening any file, with no manual work, I just selected a folder. Irrespective of how many files were there in the folder, it has managed to cleanly combine all of it. Now, some obvious questions are, what happens when the files are not in the right order? What if one has more columns, one has lesser columns? What if the spelling of the column is different? What if the column order is different? The same columns are there, but in a different order. What if there are errors in the data? There is an answer to each one of these problems that we have. In the scope of today's training, I will obviously not be able to cover all of it, but so that you know that it is possible, even if your raw data, your input has some non-uniformity in it, it can be handled by Power Query. Of course, the example that I've shown you right now is a very clean example where I assume that the same number of columns, the same order, the same spelling was there in all the 3 years. But even if there is a little bit of mismatch, you can always handle that. But I'm not covering that right now. So I will click on close and apply. And what happens is all the three files have been combined into a master file, and you would notice, do you see this? It has created a combined entity called sales, not 3 years separately, but one combined file. And if I open sales and I make it into a card, you will notice that it tells me my sales is 1.56 million. I've selected this visualization called the card. But there is a problem, right? What if tomorrow another file gets added to the same folder? Now, does that mean you have to repeat the entire process? Absolutely not. Watch this. I will go back to my folder. I'm going to select my 2016 file right in front of you, and I'm going to move it in the same folder. Fair enough, everyone? Let's come back to Power BI. Now, what has happened? Something has been added to that folder. Either one of the files has been removed, modified, or a new file has been added. Now, how do I refresh the entire process? I just click on refresh, and you would notice the value gets updated. Very cool, right? Same thing. If any backdated entry happens, if any value changes, if any old file is removed, if any file is modified, everything will be automated. Now, how is everything getting automated when I click on refresh? Like something must be happening, right? There is a connection that has been created. Let me click on transform data, this one, and you will notice that if all of you can see it on the right side, everyone, do you see these steps? Source, hidden file, custom function, rename column, remove. This is like a macro. These steps that you see here, so these 8 steps have been recorded. And the best part is that when tomorrow some update happens to that folder, you don't have to repeat all these steps. As you can see, the steps have already been saved, all these steps. And every time you click on refresh, what happens? The same steps keep on getting refreshed. Fair enough? So it's automation, basically. There is a question which says, I said that for sales, Tableau is a better platform than Power BI. Why do I say that? See, the reason most of the CPG and consumer packaged goods, FMCG companies, telecom companies, all of them work on Tableau more is because Tableau is a much older tool. Tableau was started in 2003. Power BI was started in 2015. So Tableau has been around for 17 years. Power BI has just been there for about 5 years. So they already have a head start. Also, in terms of visualization, Tableau is, I would say, a little better. It's more sophisticated in terms of the charts that you can create. But see, what happens is that the market is constantly changing. So there are clients who are moving away from Tableau to Power BI. Now, Tableau has been purchased by Salesforce. And Salesforce, all of you would know, is a very large CRM. And this has made Tableau much more powerful. But Power BI is owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is a $1 trillion company, so you know how much money they have, right? How are they different, Neelam? Basically, they're competing with each other. For example, if I ask you, should you use Google Sheets or Excel? Or obviously, you would say I would use Microsoft Excel. And if I ask you why, you would say because it has more features, right? Google Sheet is only there on the cloud. It can't work offline. There are limitations. Tableau and Power BI is not like that. Tableau and Power BI are more or less similar. They can connect to the same types of data. They can create the same types of charts. They can do the same type of data cleaning. They can write the same type of formula. Then what is the difference? The difference is that it's a choice. For example, if I want to create an account, why do I have different options? For example, I can go to MailChimp and create let's say I can go to Qualtrics or I can go to SurveyMonkey. They're all going to charge me money, aren't they? Why do I go to Zoho and why do I go to Zerodha or whichever company? It's a choice. They're all competitors. This is perfect competition. There are multiple tools like Power BI and Tableau in the market. And once I show you a little more Power BI today, I will show you how to do the same thing on Tableau as well, right? I hope that will make it clearer. All right, so I click on close and apply. And now let's look at the other part. I know that this is working, everyone. And if you give me a moment, let me just turn off my automatic detection because I want you to understand everything properly. I will just take 1 second. All right. Now let's say I want to look at a bar chart. Very simple. And in the bar chart, we will keep our subcategory and we'll keep our sales amount, correct? Now, what is the challenge here? I know that these are my 17 subcategories, but I also want to know what are the categories. So which 3 categories do all of these subcategories belong to, correct? Now, where is our information? Like, how do I know which categories are these? Now, remember that mapping is there in a different file. So if you notice, we have a different Excel file called category. And in this, I can see that each subcategory is mapped with a category. Now, if you did not have Power BI, what would you have done? You would have done a VLOOKUP, correct? You would have filled up these blank cells, then you would have changed the column order, then you would have done a VLOOKUP. But this means you would have done a VLOOKUP for every single file individually. You would have done it for 13, 14, 15, and 16. Do you imagine how much time it takes and how many errors it can happen when you do something manually? I want to show you how you can create a connection between multiple files. So I'll click on Get Data in Excel. And this time I'm going to select my, everyone. So I'm going to select my category file, which is a simple single Excel file. But there are some problems in this. If you notice, when I select the sheet, you will notice that the column heading is not coming correctly. It says column 1 and column 2. It doesn't say category and subcategory. That's the first problem. The second problem is that I have all these null values. I don't have furniture, office supplies, and technology in all the records. I have null, null, and null. Now the question is, why does this problem happen? This problem is very common because a lot of time when you prepare a database, you don't bother to fill up all the blank values. In fact, this is how the data comes from SAP also. We know that all of these are under furniture, chairs, furnishing, bookcases, and tables. But this is not something the system can understand. I have to fill up the blank cells, correct? So 2 challenges, remember, we have to correct the heading and we also have to fill up the blank cells. Could I have done this on Excel? Yes. But do I want to? No, because then I would have done it manually and I have to do that every single time. So I'll click on transform data, right? And what will happen? On Power Query Editor, you would notice that now we have 2 queries. One is my sales, which is all the 4 years of sales data, and the other is sheet 1, which is category. So I'll just rename this to category, everyone, and this is my sales data, right? Let's call this sales 2013 to 2016. Now, this is obviously unclean. We have to do some data transformations here. We have to clean the data. I could have done it on Excel. I could have done it on Python, whatever tool you want to use. How do I make category and subcategory as the header? Remember, this is not Excel. You can't just cut and paste the value. It doesn't work like that. What you will have to do is you will have to use the commands given at the top. So there is a button called use the first row as headers. And when I click on this, you will notice that automatically the first row has become the headers. But at the same time, you will notice that this step has also been saved, which is called promoted headers. What does it say? Table.promote headers, promote all scalars is equal to true. Now you might be looking at this and wondering, but is this an Excel formula? It doesn't look like one because it is not. These are not Excel formulas. They are formulas, which means that they start with an equal to sign, but they are not Excel formulas. This is a completely different language, which is called mQuery. So let me just quickly open up so you can see this. This is called mQuery. mQuery is a very unique language, which is only used by Power Query. It is not used by any other platform, right? So no other platform can use mQuery, only Power BI and Excel can. Only 2 software can do this. You can read about this in more detail. It's been there in some form or fashion for 10 years, but I mean, it has become popular over the last 3-4 years. All right, now we have to fill up these blank cells, right? And in Excel, it is possible, but not the easiest thing to do. In Power Query, it's so simple. I can simply right click on the column and I can say fill and then fill down. That's it. And you notice I will get fill down. Amazing, right? Just one step and you can see all of the values. Now the question is, fine, we have the sales data, we have the category data, but I need to get these category names. See, here I have all the subcategory, but I also need to know the category, right? That's how I can do my analysis. Now you will say, but Havish, what is the point of doing all this? At the end, you have to do a VLOOKUP. I agree with you. If you want to do a what we call a merge, it's not called a VLOOKUP. We're working with a database, so we call it a merge. If you want to do a merge, you can, and I will show you, but I will also show you how you don't need to do that. But assuming that you wanted to do a VLOOKUP, what do? You select merge query at the top, everyone. And then it is asking me which two tables do I want to merge. One is the sales table, the other is the category table. Now, unlike a VLOOKUP where you have to put lookup value, table array, column number, the lookup type, you don't have to do any of that. I will just select the common column. What is the common column? Subcategory and subcategory. That's it. You just have to click on it. And it's so simple, isn't it? What does it say? It says that 9,994 rows of 9,994 rows have been matched. What does that mean? That here there are 9,994 records in the sales data. And each one of those subcategories is available in the category table. So when I press OK, what will happen is the entire category table will get merged with my sales table. Now you might say, but I don't need the entire table. I just need the category. So you can click on the expand button and you can say, we don't need the subcategory because they already have the subcategory. If you notice, we already have the subcategory. So why do you need it again? We only need the category, which is like this. And you notice that now we have the subcategory and the category. I would say this is very similar to a VLOOKUP, right? It's a little more efficient. It's much, much faster. Like if you do VLOOKUP with 3 lakh, 4 lakh cells, your Excel will crash or at least will slow down. This can work with, there is no limit on it. You can work with 5 crore records also, and it will work instantaneously. But here's the best part. I don't need to do any of this. And you know why? Let me just cancel these last steps. So I'll just click on the close button. This is how you delete a step. And I'll go back to close and apply. Now the problem is that here I have my data, everyone, right? And please watch very carefully. If I keep my subcategory in legend and I keep my category in Access, you notice that it says there's something wrong. It says that it can't make the visual because category is coming from one table, which is one Excel file, and the sales and subcategory is coming from a different table. Now we know that they are connected to each other, but how do you explain that to Power BI? This is how you use a database fundamental, which is to create what you call a join. So please watch. I click on the modeling button, this one. Now it shows me that there are two tables. I have my sales data and I have my category data, correct? We know that this, everyone, this and this is the same. Without writing any formula, I can just drag it and put it on top of subcategory. And this is how you create what we call a relationship. Because the two tables are related to each other, but how are they related? Using the subcategory. And what do these icons mean? The one means that in the table on the left, which is category, every subcategory is mentioned one time because it's a unique list. And on the table on the right, every subcategory is many. This is the asterisk, which means that every subcategory has been purchased numerous times, hundreds or thousands of times. Do you see this? One and many. Now, when I go back to the report, you will notice that my chart is working. How cool is that? Imagine what is happening. What is it telling me? It is telling me, see, it is telling me that in the technology category, 20% of your sales is coming from accessories, 17% is coming from copies, and so on and so forth, correct? Now you will say, but where are these columns coming from? They're coming from different tables. Category is coming from category, subcategory is coming from sales, and you're still getting the result. How cool is that? Now, before you ask your questions, let me also say that you wanted to see who are the top customers, right? For each one of these subcategories. So very quickly, let's go to Excel. We will click on our ID and name. Exactly what we did. We just practice it once more. We select the ID and name. Same problem. You notice the column heading is not correct. It says column 1 and column 2. It doesn't say customer ID and name. So I'll click on transform data. Now this is the third query that I have. And obviously there is no limit. You can have as many queries as you want. What do? First row as headers. So the table becomes correct. We click on close and apply. And just like we did earlier, now I want to create a connection. So I'll go to model and I'll create a connection between my customer ID and my customer ID, right? So we've created another relationship, one-to-many. And something that I did yesterday, I'll do it once again. So I'm going to just put a border and a shadow. Let's make one more page, everyone. And on this page, I want to show the top 5 customers. How do we do that? First, I'll go to page size and change the size to a tooltip. That means it's a smaller page because I just want to see the top 5 customers, right? So I'll make a table, right? Nothing special. We will put our customer name and our sales amount and our profit amount in the table, correct? Once we have done this, it is showing me all the 793 customers that I have, but I only want to see the top 5. So we can open the filter pane and I can say that, do not show me all the customers, right? Do a top n, which means only show me the top 5 customers as per my sales value. So what is it doing now? It is basically only going to show me that Tom Ashbrook, Adrian, Raymond, Tamara, and Sean are my top 5 customers, correct? Now, there is a small problem. The problem is that this is not correct. It is showing the surname and then the first name. This is not the right way to present the data, right? You want to show it as the first name and the last name. Now, how do you do that? One option is to go back to the Excel and fix it, but I don't want to do that. I want to automate that process. So we go back to transform data, which is Power Query Editor. I hope by now you're getting the hang of it. And what do? We want to change the order, not to pass Darren, but to Darren pass. Watch very carefully. I just want the first name and the initial of the last name. That means Darren space P dot, Filina space O dot. Can you write formulas to do this? Yes. I can use left, right, mid, repeat, substitute, find, search, concatenate, text join, but I don't have to do any of that. Why? Because Power Query has machine learning in it. And let me show how that works. I'm going to select the column and I'm going to add a column. And you see this, everyone? There is an option called column from examples. This is how we can train Power Query to convert my data into a format that I want. And I want to show this to you. I'll click on column from examples. Now, what is it saying? It is saying, Havish, this is the column, which is name. Please enter some sample values to create a new column. So I don't have to write a formula. A formula will be written, but who's going to write it? Power BI is going to write it automatically. All we have to do is to simply give a sample. So I'm going to tell it, see, I don't want pass Darren. I just want, please watch everyone. Darren space P dot. Now what will happen is that this becomes a test data. And on the basis of this, I'm training Power Query to understand my requirement. And you notice it will automatically give me the other results. But why is it not coming? It says, please enter some more sample values. You have given a sample, but Power Query is not very sure what you want. It wants to confirm. It wants to validate. So I'll tell it, no, I want fill in now. So I'll explain it once again, fill in now, space O dot. Fair enough? Now watch. You notice it is still not coming. So let me give it a few more examples. If I say make B, and if I say Lycoris S, you notice, if you notice carefully, you would see that at the top, it is creating an if statement. So it is creating multiple ifs. But that is not what I want. Because what will happen is, just think about it. What will happen is that every time I do that, if, it will keep on making multiple ifs, but I'm not getting the logic that I wanted. And you might give up. A lot of people give up because they say, Havish, it's not working, right? I mean, I don't like this answer. Let me show you a different way of doing it. I'm going to write, please watch, Darren pass, okay? And I'm going to write Felina over. Now do you see it is working? It is able to swap it. It is giving me the first name in the beginning and the surname at the end. Did I write a formula? No. Did I remove the comma? No. What did I do? I just gave it a sample and you notice it is automatically creating the formula for you, which is let split name is equal to splitter dot split text by data. It's a very complicated formula, but the best part is you don't have to write it. It will write it automatically for you. Fair enough? But watch carefully. What if I now come and say that there should actually only be P? And what if I say that there should actually only be O? Did you see what I did? Do you see we are getting the result that we wanted? How smart is that? I mean, you're actually training the system to understand your query. This is a problem that the system has never seen earlier. And because my problem was very complicated, I had to change the position of first name and last name. Then I had to remove the comma and the space. Then I had to remove all the letters and only keep the initial of the surname. It was quite a difficult problem, right? Even on Excel, it would have been quite difficult. It would have taken you effort to do it. Did you see how I managed to train the system? And when I press OK, how beautiful is that? Watch this. You will get the result that you wanted, right? Any questions, anyone, on this? Take 2 minutes, think about it. First, ask me questions on this part. How did I get the name in the format that I wanted? And then you can ask me other questions. See, I know when you do all of this for the first time, it seems very overwhelming, right? It all seems so much. And in the beginning, Power BI seems very simple because it's very colorful and you make charts and all. But then you realize that that is only one part of being a data analyst. 80% of your time will not go into creating charts. It will go into this, creating a model, cleaning your data, connecting multiple files, right? You should not be scared about it. You should not be worried about it. You should just accept that this is what you have to focus on learning, not the charts. The charts are simple. I mean, a school student in fourth standard can be taught in 5 minutes how to make a chart in Power BI. That's how simple the tool is. By making a chart, you should not feel happy that, oh, you have accomplished something. Today, the tools are so powerful that creating chart is just a click of a few buttons. It is this which is looked at, the model that you create and the cleaning that you do and the automation that you create, right? And if I talk about any of the client projects that I handle, this is what I do for most of my time. Right? After making changes in Power BI, can we update an Excel sheet with the same changes? Shubham, after, very good question. Sometimes what will happen is after you do something here, you might want to save a copy as an Excel. Fair enough? Let me show you how we do that. I'll click on close and apply. Now there is no option to save it as an Excel because Excel can only be an input, but there is a workaround. I can go to model, this one, that's the second one, which is the data view. And here in the data view, you notice I have my ID and name. I can simply right click, copy the table and then paste it on an Excel file. But when you paste it on Excel, it will only get pasted as a value, not as a formula. Remember? So for example, how is the past Darren getting converted to Darren P? That will not go in Excel. Only the values will go in Excel. It's just a static copy and paste that you're doing, like a paste special value, right? Right, everyone? Now, I hope this part all of you would be clear with. The model is already created. So what can I do now? I can just remove my name and put my custom column, which is that. And now we're getting a beautiful list with all the names in it, top 5 sales and profit, right? Let me just make it a little better looking. Let's improve the aesthetics as well. So I'll make a border and a shadow. And we'll also change the page background to a simple color, right? So we choose a orange color here, right? Like this. And let's keep it in the center. Now we want this page to be connected to the previous page. And when I go to page number 1, Rahul, I'll answer your question. We can just go to format. We can go to tooltip. And basically, I'm going to connect page number 2 to page number 1. So I'll connect page number 2 to page number 1. And you know what will happen now? Something very cool. Watch this. When I take my mouse over any one of these bars, you will notice that it will tell me who the top 5 customers are. right? And this is dynamic. How cool is that? Like this. I mean, this level of sophistication and layers of interpretation cannot be done on Excel, no matter how well you work on Excel. I've been working on Excel for 20 years. I also can't do all this because Excel doesn't support all this. So there's a question, can it replace Excel since it is relatively efficient? It is not meant to replace Excel. Excel is an input file, right? Power BI is a software that allows you to create dashboards and reports and present your data. For Power BI, the data will always come from an Excel file, number one. That's the first reason. The second reason is that all of these options that I've shown you, everybody, all of this is available in Excel as well. Do you see this? On data, I have get data and I have Power Query Editor. Every single thing that I've done, which is the cleaning of the data, can be done on Power Query Editor. Now you will say, but Havish, how will you create the model? How will you link different tables with each other? That you can do on Power Pivot. Here you can go to manage and you can create the same relationship between the different tables that I've done on Power BI. Right? I'll just give you a quick 2-minute glimpse of how we do this. Please watch. I go to Power Pivot. I'll go to data. I'll go to get data from file, from folder. This will also act like a recap. First, we want to take the sales data, which is for 4 years. So I'll browse. We will go to Superstore, select sales and select OK. 4 files. I click on combine and no, I'll click on transform. It will open up Power Query Editor, right? But if you notice, it is just showing me the data. So when I click on record, I'm sorry, actually, let me do that once again. 1 second, guys. Get data from file, from folder. I'll select Superstore and sales, and we'll click on OK, and we will select combine and transform. We will select the sheet that we want, which is sheet number 1, and we click on OK. And what will happen is all the 4 files will get combined. Fair enough? As you can see, everybody, all the 4 files have got combined. Now watch the steps very carefully. This is a little technical, but you have to learn all this. If you want to become an advanced Excel user, then you have to know all this. I will click on close and load, and I will close and load to a connection, right? So I'm not just taking the data and putting it on Excel as a copy paste. I'm just loading it as a connection. And you will see in a minute why that is important, right? So once again, Power Query Editor. This is my data, right? Now, please watch. I'll just show it to you once again. So duplicate. Let me remove the older one, okay? What did I do? Close and load to, and you will select connection. Because you want this table to be connected to another table, you will also have to select this option called add this data to the data model, right? Very quickly, let's get the category as well, right? So I'll click on get data from file workbook. I will go to my desktop, select Superstore, select category, import, and sheet 1, transform. Same thing, what we did earlier. First row as headers, right click, fill down, and then close and load to a connection with a model. Now you would say that there are 2 models. These, everybody, the query, just don't look at the other things. These are the 2 connections, but where is the model? Where do I create the relationship? Now I go to Power Pivot, and in Power Pivot, you notice that I have the same view that I have in Power BI. So what did I do? I selected my subcategory and I put it in subcategory. I'm doing the same thing here. We're creating a one-to-many relationship. And now when I make a pivot table, you know what will happen? Something very cool. You will get a pivot table with both the data sets in it. You know, I'm sure all of you would say a yes. If I ask you, whoever, your faculties, your summer internship experience, if some of you are in the corporate, you have all been told that you cannot merge multiple tables into a common pivot table, correct? We have always made different pivot tables and then we have done a VLOOKUP or something like that. Now I've shown you how you can have multiple tables combined into a single pivot table. And that is how cool, because I can now put my category and I can put my sales amount, and I'm able to see the breakdown of my 3 categories, despite the fact that this is coming from a different file and this is coming from a completely different file altogether. In fact, If you notice, I don't even have two files. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5. There are 5 files that I have, and those 5 files have been combined into a single model like this, right? So this is the long answer to your short question that is it going to replace Excel? No. Power BI is not meant to replace Excel. It is supposed to complement Excel. Power BI is not a better tool. It is a different tool. Excel is used for creating models, handling data, downloading data, doing simple calculations, creating pivots, creating a quick dashboard. Power BI is something which we will not probably work on every day, right? Excel will still be much easier to work with because people are habitual to it. After 5 years, 10 years, what will happen? I don't know. But even after 5, 10 years, we don't expect a lot of change because so many people have already got used to working on Excel. By the way, Excel has just completed 35 years yesterday. Excel was launched on September 30th, 1985. And yesterday was Excel's 35th anniversary, right? So, I mean, it's a big deal, right? A software surviving for 35 years. Great. I hope this process was clear as well on Excel. And now let me just show you a few more dashboards. One is we have made this one. Let me show you something which we did not do yesterday, all right? So let me do something different for you. I will make a decomposition tree, this one. And in this, we will keep, in the decomposition tree, we're going to keep multiple things. We'll keep our category. I will keep my subcategory. I will keep my region. Then we will keep our segment. And we will keep our shipping mode, right? And you want to see what's going to happen now? Watch this. It is showing me that my total sales is 2.29 million or 22,97,000. If I click on the plus sign, it gives me a choice. It is asking me, what do you want to see? The category, subcategory, region, segment, or ship mode. I also have an option called high value, which is an AI tool. If I click on high value, it automatically tells me that the highest contributor to sales is coming from standard class shipping. And same thing, now I can look at region. In region, I can look at category. In category, I can look at subcategory. And in subcategory, I can look at segment. It's a beautiful visualization, very helpful for financial analysis, because in financial analysis, you have to do a lot, right? You have to look at different levels. Like you will look at the BU, the department, function, sub-function, the product code, then the SKU code, then the general ledger code, and so on and so forth. When you do a root cause analysis, whatever, expenses, earning, whenever you're doing any analysis, you want to do all this. And here the best part is everything is dynamic. I can click wherever I want, and you notice that everything changes. Very cool, right? But it gets even better. At the bottom, if I make a slider, which is my slicer for my order date, you would notice that I can move it. And you see how for different periods, the contribution is shifting. Very impressive, right? Like for the entire period, technology has been the #1 contributing category for the central region, right? But if I look at the last 6, 7 months, you notice that technology hasn't been the largest. Office supplies has been the largest, right? Like this. And believe me, every visualization has so many more options in it. Like if you keep on exploring, let me show you. If I click on format, you notice that I have analysis, and in analysis, I have absolute and relative, but I'm not going to show this to you. I'm going to show you, just give me a moment. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. So we have an option called data bar. And in the data bar, I have a scaling option. So it is level maximum, it is top node, and it is parent node. I will not get into the details, but I hope you can see the level of analysis that is possible when you do this. Okay? And of course, you can have conditional formatting. So you can have different colors for the data bar. You can set up your own rules, right? So you can say that maybe I want to have my colors ranging from red to green. Why does it say custom? I don't know. Let's see. Right? So you get the idea, right? So we can have all these sort of things that we do. What else can I show you? Let me import another visualization. For those of you who were not there yesterday, Power BI has inbuilt charts, but you can even download more charts from the internet. So I can click on get more visuals, and there are over 200 different charts available, right? So let me show you some fun charts. You'll have to give me a moment to think of the right one to show you. Let me show you the bubble chart. I think I'm not sure which one it is. Just give me a moment. Yeah. I'm sure you would have seen this on LinkedIn. A lot of people make this. So I make a bubble chart. And very simple, I'll put my category and subcategory and sales amount and a region. I don't think I need to explain this to you. I hope all of you can see what is happening. Each one of these bubbles is my subcategory, which is the cluster. So let me actually move that around. Let's say we want to keep our region in our cluster. So we get 4 big bubbles and every bubble has your category. If you click on the expand button, it will show you the, oh, anyway, this is not available in the free version, but you can see what's happening now. Let me at least show you how the subcategories perform. How amazing is this? And the best part is you can connect this to other charts as well. For example, if I have another chart for the region, right? And I'm just keeping my region and sales. And below that, we want to make a map. And in the map, we will keep obviously our state and our sales value. Just see how everything is interconnected. I can click on any region and you see what is happening. The map is changing and my chart is also changing. Such a brilliant way of presenting your information. Okay, I'll show you one more. This is called the animated bar chart face. I'm sure all of you would have seen this on LinkedIn. And what we're doing is we are creating the animated bar chart trace, and very simple. I want to keep my sales amount and my subcategory and my order date. Right? And I hope all of you would confirm that you have seen this on LinkedIn and just see how easy it is to create. Region and name, sales and value, order date and period. That's it, right? And you want to change it, just keep something else. And you can customize it. Like you can go to format, you can go to options, and you can set the speed as well. So if you just make it 5,000, so you can make it slower as well, right? Of course, you will not get a lot of customizability. Like if I had done this on Python, which is possible, I get complete control over it. Here, you're limited. Like, of course, you have many options available, but you don't have everything available. But the good part is that for a basic user, most of what you require would be there, right? So I don't think you will really wish that you had many more things, right? Like if I only say 4, then it only focuses on the top 4 as 4 different colors. Anyway, see, like this, I can keep on going on. There are 200 charts available on Power BI, so you can imagine how much we can do with it, right? And even the inbuilt ones are very powerful. Like if I make a scatter plot, I can keep my sales in my x-axis and my profit in my y-axis, and I can keep my legend as my customer name. This is more for the business school students. You have all heard of customer clusters, right? Where you're doing segmentation, you're doing decision tree, k-means clustering, KNN. Just see how simple it is. I can just click on the 3 dots and I can say automatically find clusters. And what will it do? It will ask me how many clusters do I want. So let's say I want 5 clusters. I will automatically break my data into 5 clusters. How amazing is that? It's so simple, isn't it? And you can now look at different regions and then see that for every region, what is the cluster breakdown like this. Right? Then you have a play axis here. So if I keep my order date in my play axis, I can also click on the play button and I can actually see, you know what, let me just put, not show what to put here, maybe only my month, yeah. So I can see basically over every month, how my customer clusters are shifting. It's a cluster chart. It's called the scatter chart. And what you're doing is you're creating a cluster on top of it. Right? And of course, you have basic forecasting. So I can make a line chart. Then I can put my order date and my sales amount. And then let's say I want to see the forecast. Just click on analytics, go to forecast. I want to add a forecast for, let's say, the next 2 years. And that's it. It makes a forecast for the next 2 years. And see, the best part is everything is dynamic. So this means that if you keep region as a slicer, right, this will happen. This is what you can't do on Excel. Like in Excel, you can do the forecast with a little more effort, but it would not be possible for you to make it dynamic. That is what Power BI really shines at, right? Good. So that would be all from my side. Tomorrow, I'll be teaching you how to use something called DAX, which is data analysis expressions. That's for more advanced functionalities on Power BI, like time intelligence functions, looking at growth total, cumulative total, running total, the sales from new customer attrition, right? So we're going to focus on that tomorrow. DAX is basically a different language that is used on Power BI, SQL Server, and on Excel. And they use an engine called the Tabular engine, right? If you want to read about it, you can. This is a very good website called dax.guide. Right? And if you want to look at more examples of how Power BI dashboards can be used for different industries, you can just go to my website. And you can see here that we have different dashboards that I prepared. So this is on sales. Right? And as you can see, everything is fully dynamic. So for example, here we're looking at who my top customers are. I can also look at my segments. Then we have an HR dashboard. We have another HR dashboard, which is survey data. Then we have financial dashboards, right? Very, very detailed. You know, you have lots of different things in it. Then I've also shown you how you can format your charts to make it look really, really pretty, right? Like this. And these are all interactive, by the way, right? So you can actually play with all of these. Okay, then again, this is a financial dashboard. This is a political dashboard from the last national elections. This is again a retail data, just a very simple data, but here I've used tooltips so I can see the different states in the region. I can look at any year, I can look at any quarter for which I want to see the data, like this. Then this is done on Tableau, very similar. Like I said, Tableau is just the same tool. It just has different approaches to it. Okay, question is, do we have recommended charts featured in Power BI as per data? No, not at all. There are no recommended charts. You will have to pick and choose which charts you want. Somebody new to learn Power BI Tableau, which one do you suggest? Swati, I don't think that's the right question. You don't learn something on the basis of what is simple or difficult, right? You learn something on the basis of what is important to you. I don't know what your background is, but if you're a student, then you have to decide which path do you want to follow. If you want to be in finance, then you have to learn Power BI. If you want to work in retail, sales, digital marketing, as a product manager, then probably Tableau is going to be more important for you. If you're working in operations, then finance and then Power BI is more important for you, right? So functionality, I can't answer that question. See, both of them are important. I work on both of them. Just to quickly show you on Tableau how we would have done the same thing, right? Just a 2-minute example. Remember, Tableau is paid. So what I'm working on right now, this costs 60,000 rupees per year, which you have to pay. Power BI Desktop is free. This is paid. So I'm going to connect to my Excel file, the same data. I'll make a sheet. This is the interface. So I have all my charts. I have all my fields. Let me make a packed bubble chart. So I will select my segment. No, you know what? I'm going to put my, you will see how more difficult it is. I'll put my category and subcategory together. So subcategory is on category. So I'll make a hierarchy. And then I'll also put my region here. And then I'll also put my segment here, right? Now we will select this and we'll select sales value and we'll convert this into a bubble chart. So you notice I can just click on the plus sign and it will automatically break it down into my segment, then my category, and then my subcategory like this. And this is also dynamic. So I can go to my format, animation, turn on my animation. Then I can put my order date in pages, change it into month, and then I can set the speed as medium. And you notice I can just set a nice animation like this. And there's a lot of simplicity. Like if I put my, let me just stop it first. If I put my segment in my column, it will make 3 different packed bubbles for me, right? And then I can see the visualization like this. More or less it's the same thing. What I can do on Power BI, I can do on Tableau, but maps are very nice in Tableau, a lot easier to work with. For example, I can put my country. Right, so I'm going to select my state and my sales value. So you notice it is showing me, let me increase the size as well. It is showing me all the states in the United States. I can also put my sales as a color, so I can get different colors, and let me change the color to a different palette. So we'll select a orange, blue, diverging like this. If you want to see the cities as well, you can just click on the plus sign and it will show you all the cities as well. If you want to zoom in, you can just select an area like this and it will zoom into that area. If you say keep only, it will just zoom into that particular area. You want to see the sales value on top of it, just select sales, put it on label, and you can see the sales value. As you can see, it's more or less the same thing. What we can do there, we can do here as well. It's just a question of, you know, it's a very detailed answer. Like I can't just tell you when to use it, when not to use it. The more you start working with different, like some of my clients work on Tableau, some of them work on Power BI. I'll put it like that, right? But Tableau is much more difficult. It's, I mean, at least 5 times more difficult than working on Power BI. And I don't say that because I want you to work on Power BI. I'm just saying that because it is the truth, right? You can work on whatever you want to work. I'll be more than happy if you decide to work on it. It doesn't matter which one you decide to work on. Great. For those of you who were not there yesterday, most welcome, Swati. For those of you who were not there yesterday, I'm doing a 12-hour course with IIT Bombay, which is on the 31st of October and the 1st of November. It's going to be a full day training. It's going to be an online training from 10 a.m. till whatever, 9 to 5, 10 to 6. I don't remember the timing. It's a Saturday and a Sunday. You will get a certificate from IIT Bombay and Havisham Consulting. And we're going to cover 6 hours of advanced Excel and 6 hours of advanced Power BI, which covers everything in Power BI. The cost of the training is 2,000, but I'll be sharing a payment link with you. If you're interested, you can see my YouTube channel to see whether you're interested in it or not. If you are interested, then I have a special offer. If you register for this, then I'll also give you access to my course on Power BI, which is a 5-hour course, which we retail for 500 rupees. So basically, this will be happy to give free of cost, right? Great. If you can just wait a moment, I'll also share my YouTube link if any of you want to see some more videos on all these different technologies. Is Power BI safe with respect? Yeah, Power BI is safe. Power BI, all the data is encrypted, so you need not worry about that. I mean, I did not even bother reading your entire question. because I mean, this is a question that gets asked to me all the time. Obviously, Power BI is 100% encrypted, so you don't have to worry about data privacy. It's an enterprise level software, right? So do remember, for a company, it's very costly. Like for a company, if you're working with Power BI Premium, you're spending about 35, 40 lakhs per year, right? So it is a costly endeavor, undertaking to install and start using Power BI. Right? Excellent. Any other questions, anyone? Most welcome. All good? Excellent. If you have any queries, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Um, I'll be more than happy to help. Okay? Great. So I hope you had a good session, and I will be sharing the link with all of you today. So I'll be sharing the link for both the sessions, for yesterday as well as today. Right. So hope to see you tomorrow as well. Tomorrow is going to be more advanced, but it's going to be exciting. We will work a little more in Power BI. Great. Thank you, everyone.